Hello everyone. In this previous class, we studied what matter is. In this class, we will learn about the different states of matter and their classification. Student, let me ask you a simple question. Is water always a liquid? Think carefully. What happens when water is kept in a freezer? It becomes ice, which is solid. And what happens when water is heated? It becomes steam, which is gas, right? So, the same substance, that is water, can exist in different forms, that is solid, liquid or gas. These forms are called the states of matter. Mainly, there are three states of matter. States of matter can exist in a three form, that is solid, liquid and gases. So, let's start with the solid. Can you think some examples? A rock, gold, book and pencil. Solid, they all are solid. So, solids have a definite shape and definite volume. I have a pen also. So, this pen have a definite shape and definite volume. So, the solids have a definite shape and definite volume. Particles in this pen, particles are tightly packed in a fixed proportion. So, in solids, particles are tightly packed in a fixed positions. Now, let's move to the liquid, that is water. The examples of liquid are water, oil, milk and mercury. Water have a definite volume, but water don't have a definite shape. Okay, so if I have a cup and I have a water bottle, if I fill that cup 10 ml, if I fill that 10 ml of water in cup and water bottle, then it volume is same, but that water take the shape of that cup and water bottle. So, liquid have no definite shape, no definite volume and it take the shape of its container. Okay, now let's discuss gases. So, the examples of gases are air, helium, steam and LPG. Gases have no definite shape and no definite volume. Particles in this gas, particles are move freely in all direction. In our surrounding, there are different types of gases are present. Okay, there are different types of gases are present in nature. So, they don't have a definite shape, they don't have a definite volume and particles in that gases are freely move in all direction. Okay, so you have seen the solids have the tightly packed structure. Okay, in liquids have less tightly packed structure. Okay, and in gases they are move freely in all directions. Okay, so if solid is converted into liquid and liquid is converted into gas, then this changes is called the states of matter. Okay, so another interesting question is, how does ice become water and water become steam? Do you know that process? So, when solid is converted into the liquid, then this process is called melting. Then this process is called melting process. And if that liquid is converted into the solid, then this process is called freezing. Okay. What about the liquid is converted into the gas and gas is reversed back to liquid? If liquid is converted into the gas, then this process is called vaporization. Okay, and if this gas is converted into the liquid, then this process is called condensation. What about the sublimation and deposition? Do you know about the sublimation and deposition? Some substance can even change directly from solid to gas. Then this process is called sublimation. Have you ever noticed that naphthalene ball kept in a clothes becomes smaller over time? Then this is because it changes directly from solid into gas without becoming a liquid. Then this process is called sublimation. If solid directly convert into the gas without going into the liquid, then this process is called sublimation. Okay. And if gas directly convert into the solid, then this process is called deposition. Okay, deposition and sublimation. Have you understood the melting, freezing, vaporization, condensation, sublimation and deposition? Okay. If you have a doubt, let me know in the comments. This is the next slide, that is classification of matter. So matter is anything that is a mass and occupies space that we have already studied in the previous classes. Okay. So let me ask you a simple question to you. Is a glass of pure water the same as the glass of a salt water? Think about it for a moment. The answer is no. Pure water contain only one substance while salt water contain two substances mixed together. Okay, so salt water contains salt and water. Okay, so based on the composition, matter can be classified into the pure substances and the mixture. So matter can be classified into the pure substances and the mixture. So what is pure substances? Let's talk about the pure substances. A pure substance contain only one kind of particles. Okay. So a pure substance contain only one type of particle that has a fixed composition. Okay. Pure substances are further divided into the elements and compounds. Do you know the elements and compounds? Let me know. Elements made up of only one type of atom. Elements made up of only one type of atom. Do you know the examples of element? Have you studied the periodic table? Okay, in periodic table there are different types of element present. Okay, so iron, copper, oxygen and helium. These are the examples of element. There are different types of element in the periodic table. Okay, this is the example I have given in this slide. Okay, now what is compound? Okay, compound is made up of two or more elements chemically combined in a fixed ratio. So H2O is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. How CO2 made? CO2 is made up of carbon and oxygen. Okay, so compound is formed when two or more elements chemically combine in a fixed ratio. Okay, H2, this is the ratio of H2O. The ratio of H2O is 2:1. Means 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Okay, so their ratio is fixed. Okay, that's why we called as a combined in a fixed ratio. Okay, so there are different types of compound. There are different types of compound like H2O, CO2 and NaCl. Okay, H2SO4, etc. Now, what is mixture? So, mixture contain two or more substance physically mixed together. Okay, mixture contains two or more substances physically mixed together. A composition of mixture can vary. Okay, so the example of mixture are air. In air there are different types of gases are present. That's why we called as a mixture. So, for example, air, salt solution and sugar solution. So mixture are of two types, that is homogeneous mixture and the heterogeneous mixture. A homogeneous mixture has a uniform composition throughout. Okay, if I take the glass of water and add this salt and sugar to that solution, what will happen? Salt and sugar will dissolve in that glass. Okay, we can't able to see the salt or sugar in that glass. Okay, so that's why we called as a homogeneous mixture. Okay, in a salt solution or in a sugar solution, you cannot see the salt separately or you cannot see the sugar separately. Okay, now let's discuss heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture has a non-uniform composition. Okay, non-uniform composition means if I take the glass and fill that glass with oil and water, then what will happen? You will see the different layer of oil and water. Okay, in this mixture, the different components can be seen separately. That's why we called as a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, it can't able to mix together. Okay, so oil and water can't mix. Okay, that's why we called as a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, there is another example, that is salt in water. Okay, or soil. So these are the example of heterogeneous mixture. So what is the difference between the pure substances and the mixture? Let's compare between the pure substances and the mixture. Pure substances and the mixture. So composition of pure substance is fixed and the composition of mixture is variable. What is the constituents? Constituent means if hydrogen, helium means one kind of particles. Okay, one kind of atoms are present in pure substances. Okay, so in pure substance there is only one kind of particle. What about the mixture? In mixture there are two or more substances physically mixed. Now this separation. So in pure substances cannot be separated by physical method. Okay, we can't able to separate by the physically. Okay, if H2O, oxygen and H2O oxygen or salt, we can't able to separate by physical method. Okay, in pure substances. What about the mixture? In mixture, properties depend on the components. Okay, it can be separated by the physical method. Okay, have you separated oil and water of that glass? Have you performed that experiment in your home? If you have performed the experiment in your home, let me know in the comments. Okay, so now we have studied the matter. Then matter can be classified into the pure substances and the mixture, and then pure substance can be classified into the elements and compound. Then mixture is classified into the homogeneous mixture and the heterogeneous mixture. Okay, now that's all for today's class. We will continue in the next classes. Until then, take care. Bye bye.